Hello everyone and welcome to Newegg TV. Today we're taking a look at some new video cards from MSI, the GeForce GTX 750 and the 750 Ti. These cards feature GPUs based on Nvidia's newest Maxwell architecture, built using a 28nm manufacturing process. Nvidia has emphasized power savings and efficiency with Maxwell. The 750 and 750 Ti are capable of operating within the 75-watt power envelope provided through the PCI Express bus, although manufacturers such as MSI may opt for an additional PCI Express graphics power connection for overclocking headroom. The 750 and 750 Ti support Nvidia's newest technologies, including Shadowplay, which is always-on game recording with low system overhead enabled through Nvidia's GeForce Experience software, very helpful for live streaming with Twitch and YouTube. Nvidia Shield compatibility allows you to stream your desktop PC games to your Shield handheld device so you can play anywhere in your home. And of course, you also have continued support for things like GPU Boost 2.0, TXAA, FXAA, Physics, Adaptive VSync, Nvidia CUDA technology, and Nvidia Surround and 3D Vision. Let's take a look at some card specs. We'll start off with the MSI G Series GTX 750. This one has 512 CUDA cores, a base clock of 1059 MHz, a boost clock of 1137 MHz, 1 GB of GDDR5 memory on a 128-bit bus. That gives you a total memory speed of 5 gigabits per second. No power connectors required for this 750, a TDP of 55 watts, and then for outputs you get a dual-link DVI, a VGA, an HDMI, and this is of course operating on the PCI Express Gen 3 bus. Next up, the Msi Mainstream Series Gtx 750 Ti. This one gives you 640 CUDA cores, a base clock of 1059 MHz, a boost clock of 1137 MHz, 2 GB of GDDR5 memory on a 128-bit bus. That gives you 5.4 gigabits per second of memory speed. No power connectors required for this one because the TDP is just 60 watts. And then for outputs, you get a dual-link DVI, a VGA, as well as an HDMI. Finally, we have the MSI Gaming Series, or G Series, GTX 750 Ti. This one maintains a lot of the same specs as the standard series from MSI, so again, a base clock of 1059 MHz and a boost clock of 1137. Same memory configuration and the same output configuration as well. And now for a closer look, first off we got the MSI GeForce GTX 750 here. This is part of their gaming series. Included in the box you get a quick user's guide as well as a driver disk that's also going to contain the MSI Afterburner overclocking utility. So you can also download the latest driver and utility from the MSI website, so you can get those up and running. Great for overclocking. The card here, being part of the gaming series, or G series from MSI, is maintaining the black and red aesthetic, so you have a plastic shroud up on top. It's actually fairly long for the 750s that I've seen, about or just shy of 10 inches in length if you're measuring from the bracket right here. So bear that in mind, make sure you have enough space in your case. But this also has the Twin Frozer 2 cooler that's installed right here on the top. So you can see two large 100mm fans downward firing, and those are going to be pushing air over that aluminum fin stack that you can see beneath that. We also have some heat pipes extending from the GPU there at the center, going out into that fin stack to help dissipate some of that heat. Now another part or element that's in the box is this little bit of information here, because MSI has actually shipped this with a hybrid BIOS. Basically you got a legacy BIOS, which is for more traditional firmware or older systems. They might be putting it in there, so you might have better compatibility with that. You also have the UEFI BIOS option, so if you're going to be using a modern operating system, and the newest ones like Windows 8 or 8.1, having a UEFI BIOS can help the operating system tie in with the card at a much lower level. And that's basically going to give you the option, and you can see the little switch, which is very small, but it's located right up here. Basically, by flipping that switch, you can turn it from one mode to the other. So if you want really fast boot up times and the best compatibility, then having that other BIOS option is going to be a great option to have as well. So there's a switch right there, and they did locate it on the outside edge of the card, so you can still access that even when the card is installed in your case. Speaking of installed, you'll get a view of the card from this direction. So you got the MSI logo there on the back, a brace right here running along the edge of the card to help maintain that PCB rigidity. The PCB itself is a very dark brown color, but you can see the cooling solution held on by the Phillips head screws right there. At this side, you have the PCI Express Gen 3 connector, and then flipping around to this side, there's just another look at that Twin Frozer cooler. Finally, over on this end, we have our video outs, and MSI has protected these with some caps So we have 3 of them in total. You got an HDMI, you also have a VGA if you're going to be using an analog connection, and then you have a DVI-D, that's digital only. So since you got the VGA built in here, that should work just fine for you. And then DVI right there, which is dual link, so you can do higher resolutions such as 2560 by 1600. And on to the first of 2 750 Ti's from MSI. This is their mainstream 750 Ti, so not part of the G series. Again, included in the box, you get a driver disc as well as a quick start guide. And then here you'll notice a slightly different design aesthetic compared to the G series. Also, you don't get the military class 4 components, although of course they're still using high quality components in here, and this does come overclocked out of the box. So first off, the card length. Actually, the PCB down here is the longest part of the card. That's just shy of 8.5 inches when measured from the bracket. So again, spacing within your case, always important. You get a 100mm downward firing single fan there at the top, an aluminum fin stack there in the middle, and then one of the other differences from the cooling solution is you simply have the aluminum block for cooling there versus the heat pipe design that you get with the gaming series. So chances are you're not going to get quite as much overclocking headroom with this compared to the gaming series, but usually that's as a trade-off with the cost savings with going with the mainstream. Here on the side, you can see you do have an MSI logo when you're looking at it when it's installed in your case. They have maintained a flat, very dark brown PCB, pretty much black, I would say, when you're looking at it from this direction. No PCI Express graphics connector required, so again, that's a benefit of the power savings from Maxwell, that you do not need that, and you can install this card with a bit, or you don't need quite as much wattage from the power supply. There's your PCI Express Gen 3 connector there at the top, and then otherwise this is going to maintain all the features that you would expect from the 750 Ti that we've already talked about. Then here at the back, for video outs, you get HDMI, VGA, as well as a dual-link DVI-D. And finally, the 750 Ti Twin Frozr Gaming Series. Again, same inserts in the box that you have with the 750 Gaming Series. So, of course, you do still have that hybrid BIOS that we already mentioned available on this card as well, just with all of the specs and performance of the 750 Ti versus the 750. Everything else pretty much the same if you're looking at this card from a physical perspective. Again, same length on the cooler design, same 100mm downward firing fans, Twin Frozr cooler, the heat pipes there at the bottom, the PCB, which is again a very dark brown, pretty much almost black color there. The support here provided for the PCB as well. MSI logo there on the side. Then again, PCI Express Gen 3 here at the top. And finally, the video outs here on the back, which again include that HDMI, the VGA analog, as well as the dual-link DVI-D. And that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Once again, we've been taking a closer look at the MSI GeForce GTX 750 and 750 Ti from MSI's G series or gaming series, as well as the 750 Ti from MSI's mainstream series. All of them come overclocked right out of the box. Thanks again for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as all of the channels in our YouTube network. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.